Cool. Hi. This is a little tutorial on how you could record translation audio, and we'll be using the application Audacity. It's open source and free, so and it's also a very nice tool in itself. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, you should have your translation script. The one with the start and length of the audio clips that go on the video, and you just need to make sure that you translate it first into text, and then you can simply just read out the different pieces of text into different files, and I'll show you how to do that. The only trick is to make sure that you stay within the time limit, otherwise it won't really fit into the video. So first thing we can do is open up Audacity. Here we go. And we can create a new project. So we can save project as, and put it into this here and just call it audio session. You can call it whatever you like, of course. And just remember that you can do all this stuff with other audio programs. I just like this one because it's free and it's very stable and very flexible and very well proven. Cool. So I guess first of all I could show you the setup that I have going on here. Video with my camera. So this is the PC with Audacity running on it. That's my other PC, and this is a reasonably nice large diaphragm condenser microphone. I don't think it costs so much, but just that kind of thing, also with the suspension arm there, gives really good results. So yeah, you don't need the most incredible piece of equipment, but that's what I have. And also dual screens helps because you can read your script at the same time as having full screen use. Cool. So with that out of the way, and let's put that on silent. Okay. Right. So just a couple of settings to be mindful of. We go to transport here. You can put overdub on. You can play around with some other settings, but just make sure that you've got the right microphone selected. This is the Anua mic, the condenser, and yeah, and I've also turned the gain up a little bit on the recording volume, but that's not so important. I'll show you how to deliver good quality volume later. So now that we have this, it's really quite simple. All you have to do is go to the recording button here. You can also see in the tooltip that all you have to do is press R for record and say your first translation. So of course I'll do English. Let's give it a shot. I'll hit record. In this video, we'll see how to register your TradePlace account for PIMS, then how to enable products for export. Then all I did there was hit space, and here we have this little audio track here. What I normally do is just chop off the first bit because I like to take a nice deep breath so that you don't get that in the recording and the end in case there's any clicks from the keyboard and stuff. And you can play it back just to be sure that it worked. Don't know if you can hear that, but it worked. So then what I find really time effective is instead of listening to each one and exporting it, exporting them all separately, I just hit mute and then we don't hear it. I just hit R and that will, and make sure you're back at the start is easiest. When I hit R, then it just creates a new track for me. That's a setting. If it doesn't work, either Google on how to do that, but default from Audacity is if you hit record, it will create a new track for you, and that only need to be mono as well. It'll probably default to mono if you have the microphone setting, but that's all you need is mono. Stereo makes no sense. So yeah, so I'll just do a couple more and I'll show you how quickly it can actually be done. Open a browser to www.tradeplace.com. If you haven't already created a free account with TradePlace, start by clicking Register Now and be sure to register for the PIM service. Log into TradePlace using the Login section at the top of the screen. Select PIMs from the service selections, then click Start PIMs. So yeah, you can see with R and space and just muting the ones in between, it's really quite fast and simple. And I won't even bother trimming these here. They'll be fine. Even if you send me things like this with a little bit of trailing space and a little trailing space and leading space, that's fine because I can just cut it in the video if I really have to. But if you do trim it, then you can really tell. See here, this is just under 4 seconds. So you can see exactly how long your wave tracks are, so that you know if they'll fit in the video. So I do suggest taking the time to just click, drag, hit the delete key, not the backspace, delete for all these just at the end. It's very easy to do. Perhaps what you can even finish that as the last part. So the next thing you can do here is go up to Effect, and we want Normalize. Yeah, that should work. And normalize maximum amplitude to either 0 or -1. It doesn't really matter. Click OK, and that will just normalize all our tracks. And you can see with normalizing, they just amplify it until it's as loud as possible before distortion clipping. So now you can kind of just edit them a little bit like that. It's a little easier to see now, the waveforms, but leave a little bit either end. Just makes it sound a little more natural. Cool. And then once you have them looking reasonably nice, they're the right length, that kind of thing. And this is where quality mic comes in. Half quality, half decent, because then when you normalize things, if the microphone's really bad or you're holding it or something like that, and any noise that was introduced, you can really hear it. So cool. Now the easiest thing is to just go to File and Export Multiple, which is also Control-Shift-L if you like shortcuts. I do. Choose your directory and go back to recording audio translations, and I'll put them in this directory. I just put numbering before label / track name option, and 16-bit PCM is good. That's a type of wave encoding. Sorry, let's switch it to wave as opposed to AIFF. It doesn't really matter, but wave, everybody works with wave, so let's just do that, and then we can export. It'll ask to to put metadata in. I've set this as a template, so I don't have to think much about it anymore. It's not really required either, so you can just hit OK, and it'll ask you for each track, and then when it's finished, it'll tell you, look, that it has exported them all into that directory, which is cool. Okay, Now if I take a look at where are we? Here we are. These are all the tracks that we just recorded. And if we have a quick listen, and so on. So if you kind of thing, just to get your phrasing, just to get the clarity of speech happening, by all means, just play around with it for a little while. Listen to them back, see how you sound. But once you get the hang of it, and you're not, stumbling over words. In fact, let me show you just one thing, because it happens often. You might try to say something. So if I mute these again, so we have them all muted. Oh, and with the phone ringing, that's a good tip. Turn the phone off when you're doing your audio recording. You don't want to be distracted, and you don't want to be in the middle of a nice take and then you have a phone on. Also, my office is empty at the moment. People are on holidays. So otherwise, I have a room downstairs that I can book out and use, and I don't have any noise interference. I don't have any people coming in and out. That's also important, so that you can just focus, get a good take. Yeah, and it makes things much faster, because if you're not careful, this kind of thing can take a long time. Yeah, so let's say I'm doing a take. So just hit record. I'm doing a new take, but I messed up the words. So you can just hit stop there, and just hit that little X. And in fact, let's try that again. So hit R, and I'm recording, and I think it's going to stop with the other one. No, it's fine. Okay, so now it's just recording. I stuff up, or I say something a little bit weird, and just hit space, hit the little X there, and start again. It's that simple. Yeah, and if you're not quite sure, just hit X, start again, and once you get in the rhythm, you don't have to stop and listen back to each one, and you can just keep going. You can get some nice speed up. Hit save, Control S, and your session is always there to pick up again if you need to stop halfway through, that kind of thing. See, there you go. And just remember to unmute all your tracks when you go to export. Then you can just zip these up, but please rename them to how they're called on the sheet that we have. Just again, from the instructions from the sheet, you can go and rename each one. Just makes my life a lot. Again, make sure that your phone is off, and have fun with that. And if I can help you at all, if you're using another application, I may not be able to help you, but that's the general way of doing it. And if you have any other tips where actually you found a better way of doing it, or a shortcut or that kind of thing, yeah, just let me know that too. That's also valuable for me. So good luck, and I'll hear you later.